Some flights stick in your mind, and this is one of them. So got up early, not too bad. It was about 8 a.m. was the launch time. We met at the field at 7:30, and went for flight for about 2 hours 7 minutes to Ely Cathedral. So I took off. I was waiting for Lee and Gary. It's me, Lee and Gary. I then started heading towards Ely, and then remembered that I shouldn't fly over the gliding site, even though there are no gliders around at this time. So I turned round and went around these two villages, and then straight over to Great Camborne and Caxton, and then direct to Ely. At this point the fields kind of flatten out, and it gets very, very flat indeed. It's a big, huge new building development going on here, and then all the way over to Ely Cathedral. So quite a long flight. So there's Ely, and sort of dropped down over the cathedral here, and then had a look at the marina and the River Ouse. And there's a railway. There was some trains going down. There's a cargo train and a passenger train, so I just had a quick look at that. Then over the golf course, if I zoom out so we can see it, and then I went back down past Erith and then St Ives, Fenstanton, and back to Little Cranston. So great flight, really, really enjoyed it. So it's a lovely bright morning, pretty much clear blue skies, but it's cold. It's about -1, -2, something like that, degrees C. Don't know if you can see on the GoPro, but in the shadows there's frost is still around. But got my heated gloves, got several layers on, so shouldn't be an issue. So here's the launch. So we're going on our way to Ely. So I'm just hanging around for 5 minutes waiting for Lee and Gary. I got set up pretty quickly and decided to just get in the air and just hang around. Got plenty of fuel, so just waiting for Lee and Gary now. So here's Gary's launch on the left with his Hadron 3. No troubles whatsoever. Nice, very light breeze, 2 miles an hour-ish. So an easy launch for Gary, and here goes Lee. So here goes Lee. Very nice. Again, no issues at all. So Lee and Gary head over the villages, and then I head towards the gliding site, and then I turn around and realise that I'm going the wrong way. So I decided to invest in a thermos flask that will fit in my Bulldog pouch in my Paramotor. So this is the first flight where I've had a nice hot cup of coffee with me as I'm flying in the sun. So that was really enjoyable, just to sit in a chair in the sky and drink my morning coffee. Really great, really enjoyed that. This here is Camborne. This road here is the A14, which goes to Cambridge. So here we are flying over Long Stanton. What I love about these morning flights is the air is so smooth and there's no bumps whatsoever until around this time of day. So as we're approaching those solar panels, it's about 9:15 a.m, 9 a.m, something like that, and then I'm starting to feel a few bumps, and from that point onwards the flight becomes bumpier and bumpier, especially when going over dark fields or towns or houses. Or forests. It gets very bumpy. So this is the town of Ely. Etheldreda Queen, foundress and abbess of Ely, was a daughter of the King of East Anglia and died in 679 AD. She restored an old church into a monastery which had later become Ely Cathedral. It was restored in 970 AD and was the richest abbey in England after Glastonbury. So the town of Ely came much later. The cathedral was built first, and it flourished for 200 years until it was destroyed by the Danes, and the present cathedral was rebuilt in the 11th century and became a cathedral in 1109 AD. There was another major restoration in 1839, and the most recent was 1986 to the year 2000. So that's Ely Marina down there, and the trains I was talking about earlier, just going over the river there. So interesting place. So at this point I got my phone out and took a couple of photos.
Baby, you're already in that cage. You built it yourself.
So here are the trains I was talking about earlier, and Ely Marina and the River Ouse. So it does look like a nice place. I've only been to Ely a few times. I haven't actually been down to this part of it. It looks quite nice.
I just want to stop. A great big place.
So it's starting to get bumpy and just conscious of fuel. So I decided to head back to Little Gransden, but not going back the way I came. I'm just going to head towards Erith and St Ives that way. So that's Erith ahead of us. Seems like a nice little place. Never been there myself, but it's got some nice marinas by the looks of it.
I just want to stop. A great big place. I just want to I just want to stop.
So this is Fen Stanton and the huge greenhouses there.
Down in your
This is kind of weird. I saw a field what looked like ambulances. I was a bit high up. I don't want to get any lower because of the bumps, but it's kind of odd to see a field of ambulances in the middle of nowhere. So this here is Great Gransden in the foreground and Little Gransden behind, and then behind that is Little Gransden Airfield. So almost back. So there's the airfield. As I come into land, there's a light aircraft. I can see it starting to taxi. There it comes there. So I was kind of watching that like a hawk and just trying to keep to the right of the runway. So that's an active runway next to that stripy field there. So I'm going to land on the stripy bit and try and keep away from that light aircraft. That looks like it's about to take off. So I'm hoping he's going to wait for me. So I'm coming into land. So it looks like he's waiting or he's doing his pre-flight checks. I'm not sure which. And yeah, lovely flight. Really enjoyed it.
You're afraid to stick out your chin and say, okay, life's a fact. People do fall in love. People do belong to each other. Because that's the only chance anybody's got for real happiness.
What the heck? Hello. Does it suit me?